Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I've got like a little bit of a problem with my van. We have been replacing the engine in it, so that's been taking up quite a bit of time lately. Just so you know, the timing belt snapped on it. Don't know which one because it's a 4-transit connect. There is 2 on it, and it's completely knackered the engine, so we've had to replace that, and that's taken quite a bit of time up to do that. But at the moment we had a bit of a problem when we got it all back together, in that there was a clunking noise coming from underneath, which turned out to be the drive shaft, which wasn't in its bearings right, so it must have come off its cup. It's got like a cup holder, and the bearings and the sprocket, the CV joint goes inside, and then it moves about obviously on the bearings, and so it turns around from the gearbox to the wheel to deliver the power to the wheel. So the bearings have come off, and obviously it didn't fit right, so it was causing a bit of a problem. So I've had to order some CV boots, because obviously I'm going to have to take the old ones off, and that is not easy. They'll just be cut off. One of them did get damaged when we took the engine out anyway, so I had to replace it anyway. So I've ordered this kit, so when it arrives I'm going to start putting the boots back on. I've already taken the drive shafts off. I didn't do a video show you how to do that. It's fairly straightforward. I did watch a YouTube video because I struggled to get the bottom ball joint off the wishbone, the lower arm should I say. So I had to remove it from the other bolts on the pivots. So there's 3 bolts holding it in, and I've had to remove it from there and then pull the strut across to get the drive shaft in and out, which is probably a little bit easier I suppose, but there you go. Anyway, once the stuff arrives, we'll get cracking on putting the CV boots back on, and we should get it back together today. Okay, so once you have your drive shaft off, you need to maybe put it on a flat surface, and we should get some cardboard down or something along that line just to help soak up the grease, because there'll be quite a bit of grease that comes off it. So these are the boots that need replacing. It's slightly damaged in the engine transfer, so we're going to replace them. We had a bit of an issue with the bearings as well inside, which was causing a clunking sound, but we managed to pop them back on and get it all sorted. So what we'll do now is get rid of the clasps, and probably the easiest way of doing that is to use a hacksaw. Because you're replacing them. Ow. Since you've removed the clips, we're just going to knife these off. There's no point in keeping them. There we go. It says a hell of a lot of grease in them. There was more on the... So this is the damaged one here. This is what happens when you do an engine transfer. We transferred the engine and then discovered there was a clunking sound, and the drive shaft wasn't in properly. So there we go. Dirty grease. Grease is the word of feeling. I have another kit here. So there's a brand new boot to go on. Got our grease packages. We've even got some clips and a fancy cone. So apparently we turn the boot inside out. Like that. And that's the correct way of doing it, I think. So we apply some grease, apparently. That should be basically you get the cone once you've greased it, and you've got to slide that over the top. So what I'll do is turn the camera off and just do it. So basically I've got it about halfway there now. This is taking some doing to get this rubber over the final bit. It's the narrowest point of the cone, or the rubber boot, but this is the only way you'll get it on. So you have to try and force its way over, and then, so you know, your hands are going to get dirty doing this. So there we go, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's there. And as you can see, it's stuck. Right, there we go. Talk about a workout. So we've got the first one on now. That's probably the most difficult one to do. We've got to get the second one on this end now. Just need to clean these up a bit. Boot here. These are universal boots, by the way. They're all pretty much the same. So the same principle applies with these. Turn it inside out. Attach it to the cone. And here we go again. Okay, now I've got the camera sorted out. It just kept flying off its bracket. What we were doing now, oh yeah, we've got to do the bearing, pop it back on. So just need to apply a bit of grease to the union bit there. Now these actually popped off when we removed the engine, because I think came out of its cup basically, and the bearings obviously dislodged. But they're not really that difficult to pop back on. It's just that you have to get the boot off to do it. So because we damaged the boot at the other end, we decided to replace the boots. So I'm just cleaning the muck and the dust off this before it goes back on. And then all we do is basically pop it back on, give it a tap. There we go, it just pops back on. It does have quite a decent grip. It's got like a spring inside it, so it basically holds it inside or onto the sprocket there, and allows it to move around, giving you drive on your van or car. So we've now got to get the, you can see some grooves here, so that's where this needs to be, and I'll just you can feel the boot slide into the groove. Now they've provided some clips here. All you need to do is put these on. So I couldn't find my crimping tool to do the rings, so what we're using here is some tie wraps. Now this is only like a temporary measure until I find my crimping tool to put the clips on, and what we'll be doing is putting this drive shaft back on with the tie wraps on, and these rings that have come with it can be put on after. Obviously we have to be careful removing the tie wraps so we don't damage the boots again, but it should be fairly straightforward. You can get access underneath the engine to do them. But like I say, we'll put these tie wraps on for now. These will hold the grease in, and we should get these back on the van then and see whether it's worked or not, what we've been doing. Fingers crossed it should work. So the tie wraps have to be on quite tightly, obviously, because you need to hold the grease in, and this is what we're doing here. So you get 2 sachets of grease. We've already opened one to obviously get the boots onto the cone. These I would recommend using both and filling the whole boot up with the grease, because it is an area that you need to keep lubricated, because obviously when you're driving about, this is obviously going to get a lot of wear and tear. So it's important to get plenty of grease in. Use your fingers and get in there and spread it about a lot, and then just use it as much as possible. There we go. Right, the moment of truth now is to slip it back into the cup holder, and there we go. It fits, slots in straight away. Make sure the boot comes over the top of the cup. Again, there'll be some kind of lip on the edges. This will help stop the grease from coming through. And then once again, we're going to just put some tie wraps on and get these sealed up. In this case we need to use 2 because they're not quite long enough. I mean, I would recommend, if you're going to use tie wraps, just to try and get some longer ones. Just that this is all I have at the moment. Obviously I want to get this back on the van now and get it all tested and moving, and making sure there's nothing, any issues. Make sure everything's tightened up underneath the van, because obviously I don't want anything falling off. So there we go. So you just need to clean some of the excess grease off. I use some tie wraps because it will have splodged out quite a bit. Tool to get I don't worry too much about this, because it will eventually. So I don't want to damage them in a two. I don't want to damage them getting in drive shaft, but it's unavoidable, unfortunately. The grease is going to get everywhere, so you want to try it first as well. Make sure everything's in grease before we go any further. As you can see, it's all over my hands, because them can actually go on while it's on the vehicle. Just giving these an extra pull with some
the crimping tool.
you can get them as tight as possible. So now I've used all the grease. Again, these are only a temporary measure until we find the crimping tool. And like I say, it's 2 sachets per boot. Possible. You tell by the old ones that there's quite a lot of grease inside them, but it tends to thin out over a period of time as well, so you have to try and renew it every now and again. So it's always worth doing it, re-greasing them. Stops a lot of the clunking. So as you can see, I've got these back on the van, and they've been on a while now. I've done about 20-30 miles and the tie wraps have held quite well, but it's time to take them off and replace them with the clips that came with the CV boots. So although the tie wraps have done the job, I can't see them lasting very long, so we do need to get these clips on. So need to remove them, so just like I'm using some tin snips here because they have a pointed end, and I could probably get them underneath the tie wrap. You have to be careful you don't damage the boot. It should just come off easy enough. There you go, it's come off. Now I've had to buy some tools to do this because I couldn't find mine, and there they are, and there's the new clip that will need to go on. So we'll be using this one. The other one's for a different type of clip. It basically winds on, and as you can see I put it on already, the clip. You basically just need to get it on as tight as possible with your hand. Best way of doing it is to use your thumb and pull it down like that until it clips on and holds, and you just need to get your tool in to do it. Now obviously this is easier to do while it's off the van, but obviously under the circumstances I had to do it this way because I needed to get the van back together. So the tool goes on that little bit there. Now I've done that one, couldn't get the camera in, so I'm going to show you now on the other one. So there's the tool going over the little lug there. A bit tricky while it's still on the van, but it can be done. There we go. No, not quite. So there we go, that is how I replaced the position right. We've got it on. Now it's started it, so you need to squeeze car or van that these two together, and that will bring the clip in and tighten it up. And there you can see it's all squeezed now. If they will fit your car first, that little thing there. Just put your finger on it to make sure that the clip's not moving or anything. You'll notice it gets quite a tighter grip by doing it this way. So anyway, I bought another one. So what we'll do now is we'll do the other two, depending on what make the rest of the drive shaft. Fairly cheap, bought it off eBay. So there you go. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it was as informative. There you can see I've done them. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. What's to do next?